Here's the deal. You've got an offer. You've got a landing page. This thing is just going to work, right? I mean, maybe, but probably not too well. Why? Well, because you have to set it up to convert. You have to optimize it, organize it, design it, and present it in a way that makes it easier for your visitors to convert. So it turns out you all have access to something that touches every single piece of your business content. You have access to something that exists everywhere that a person can interact with or learn about your business online. This thing can make or break your ads, your emails, your landing pages. And the best part about it is that you can improve it for free. What is it? It's your words. Your words can be the difference between someone arriving on your landing page and converting with a smile on their face because they finally found the solution to the problems, this thing that they've been searching for. Now, that same someone can arrive on your landing page with the same offer, but if it's worded poorly, they're just going to leave because they never got it. So let's take a look at that second question. How do you make your landing pages successful? Now, to get some answers to this, I sat down with Joel Klettke. He's a conversion rate optimization consultant. He's a renowned expert in the world of conversion copywriting. He's one of the best, and he's going to help us figure this out. Yes, and now I'm joined by Joel Klettke. He's a conversion copywriter, CRO consultant at Business Casual Copywriting, the founder of Case Study Buddy, and generally just a renowned copywriting specialist. Joel, welcome to Growth Decoded. Thank you very much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So far in this episode, we've covered, what you would need to build a landing page, how to build one, why you would use one, the general mechanics of how they work. And what I'd really like to talk about is just how you can make your landing page successful, right? What can you do to help your landing page convert more visitors? So I guess the first question I'd like to ask you is, what is the most important part of a landing page when it comes to driving conversions? How do you get that right?
Yeah, I think the tricky thing is, if you think about, and Joanna Wiebe, who's Copy Hackers, uses this analogy quite a lot. You have to think about your landing page as kind of a conveyor belt, right? And if you ask, well, what's the most important part of a conveyor belt? Well, if any part of that belt breaks, the end goal is not going to be achieved. So really, people want to have a cut and dry, like, oh, the headline's most important or the call to action is most important. But the reality is it's all really important. It's all really critical. I think kind of the counterintuitive, or maybe the less obvious answer, because that sounds like I'm just dugging out saying it's all equal. But the most critical thing is the customer research you've done to inform that page, right? As long as you understand not only your offer, but why it matters to a particular audience and how much that particular audience already knows by the time they arrive and how much they need to know in order to take action. That's the critical piece. The page itself is just a manifestation of understanding. It's kind of like building with Lego blocks, right? Like Eugene, great copy is never written, it's assembled. And that holds true. So as long as you've got the right kind of Lego blocks in your container to build the page with, you'll be in a good place. But if you've got the wrong stuff from the outset, it's not going to matter whether your headline is amazing or your call to action is good or your bullets, whatever it might be. So, there's not just one part that's critical, but it's everything that kind of precedes it and underpins it that's really going to impact whether or not that page even has a hope of being effective in the first place.
Okay. I love that. All about understanding the audience, the customer, the problem that you're solving and their needs. That definitely makes sense. So I guess when you are assembling those Lego blocks, as far as your words or your copy, how important is it, the way that you word things? How important is that copywriting? If you have all the pieces, how do you assemble them in a way that works? How important is that?
Yeah, super critical. I think one of the key things that you want to do as part of that customer research and as part of all that prep work is understanding how do the people you're trying to reach communicate. Let's say, if we pull some random examples, like let's say that you are a personal coach. Okay. Let's say a personal trainer, like fitness, right? The way you word things should be very different. If you're selling to, like, let's say the under 25 CrossFit crowd, and they're looking for something aggressive, intense, get shredded, all that stuff really matters to them because their motivation for working with you might be different. But let's say you're that same personal trainer and now you're selling to grandparents and their goals and motivations are more, I want to have a balanced lifestyle. I want to keep up with my grandkids. I want to, be strong well into my later years. Well, if you're coming at them with really aggressive language and get shredded, all that stuff, that's going to land on deaf ears, because that's not what motivates them. That's not how they talk about their problems. And so what's really critical when you approach the copywriting piece of a landing page is to understand what are the pain points, the desired outcomes, the anxieties of your audience. And not only that, but how do they talk about them? How do they talk about these things? What language do they use to describe it, right? What do they prioritize and emphasize? So it's really, really important from a voice and tone standpoint that, yes, you want to be coming off as, yes, this is our brand, but what you say specifically matters, because the same offer positioned two different ways will land perfectly with one audience and be totally wrong for another. I think the other thing that's really critical is not just what you say and how you say it in terms of voice and tone, but I kind of alluded to this earlier, right? How much does your audience know? How sophisticated are they, right? Let's say that I'm selling a cloud security solution.
Okay.
If my buyer is the engineer or the developer, someone very technical, I can speak that language all day long. I can get right into the weeds. If I know that they're at the point in their journey where they're evaluating a lot of options, I can really focus on differentiating, like, here's what sets us apart. But let's say I'm selling, I need to convince the CEO. Well, the CEO is thinking, what's the cost benefit? How fast can we implement this? They have a different set of priorities, a different set of concerns. And so you can't just jump in with the technical jargon and hope that they navigate their way through it. You need to frame things up. You might need to start at an earlier point to fill in the gaps for them. You might need to explain why a particular technology is important in the first place or advantageous. Whereas with the engineer, it's like, no, let's just jump straight to this. So what you say, how you say it, and how aware the audience, how sophisticated the audience is, it really, really matters, because you can have the pain points, desired outcomes, all that stuff right. But if I start selling at a point that you're not ready for, or if I start wasting your time with a bunch of information you already know, I lose potentially the chance to convert, because you're starting to think, well, this is not really for me.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. That comes down to a lot of something that we're kind of uncovering here, is that mismanaged expectations or not matching the expectation of your audience is super critical. And it kind of sounds like that's your words have a big part to play in that kind of that conversation or that management. Hi, thank you for watching. If you are enjoying Growth Decoded, you can find a link in the description to sign up and join the Grow team. You'll get exclusive content and opportunities that have to do with the show. You can also hit the subscribe button for Active Campaign's YouTube channel somewhere down here, and you will never miss an update from us.